Yo, welcome to Moop Math, doing some free code camping, some HTML. So, HTML5 introduces more descriptive HTML tags. Open my drink right now, check out this ASMR. Oh yeah. So these include header, footer, nav, video, article, and section. These tags make your HTML easier to read and also help with search engine optimization and accessibility. The main HTML5 tag helps search engines and other developers find the main content of your page. So you would surround some certain things with the main, and then when you're, let's say you're Googling something, it might be, okay, like, what's this page about? Then it might return the text that's within the main section as like a little description, something like that. So let's say we want us to create a second P element. So let's do that. So let's do like this. This is the opening tag. This is the closing tag. So this is a paragraph element or a P element. And wrap the paragraphs with an opening and closing main tag. So they want us to put this text in the paragraph. Or the new paragraph. So let's put that right there. So I'll remove this little space here. There we go. And it wants us to put a main tag around the opening, the both two paragraphs. So let's do that like this. So this is how you use a main tag. And let's submit. There we go. So that is how to do a main HTML. So let's go back to the curriculum now. I also didn't do the, well, this one's done actually, so I have to do it. So I guess I would do this to submit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you know my email. Okay, let's go to, I'm just trying to finish the HTML, so also how to link to internal sections of a page with anchor elements. So anchor elements can also be used to create internal links to jump to different sections within a web page. To create an internal link, you assign a link's href attribute to a hash symbol, the hashtag, plus the value of the ID attribute for the element that you want to internally link to, usually further down the page. You then need to add the same ID attribute to the element you are linking to. An ID is an attribute that uniquely describes an element. Below is an example of an internal anchor link and its target element. So here we have, this is an anchor element. So the href is to hashtag contacts header, implying this is an ID. And then h2 has the ID of contacts header. So if you click this link, it's an internal link because of the hashtag. And the hashtag goes to the thing with the ID of contacts header. H2 has the ID of contacts header, so it goes down to that. So here, just explaining, when users click the contacts link, they'll be taken to the section of the web page with the contacts header element. So they want us to change our external link to an internal link by changing the href attribute to footer. So we're going to change this to hashtag footer. And then we add the ID attribute of footer to the footer element.
Wait, is the cow?
So now we go ID equals footer. So now if we click cat photos, whoops, that didn't work. They need to run the test. We'll change the text to jump to bottom. So now it's going to say jump to bottom. And if I click this, it should go to the bottom. For some reason, it's not working. So let's see if this works. The tag should not have a target attribute. So to remove the target, I guess. Did I miss that? Remove the target attribute. Oh, I see. So there's no target with the with this. So let's try it now. Aha, now it works. Haha. So run the test. So I learned something there. You have to remove the target. Very interesting. go to the next challenge. Let's go back to the curriculum. Create a form element. You can build web forms that actually submit data to a server using nothing more than pure HTML. You can do this by specifying an action on your form element. For example, form action equals quote backslash or quote forward slash URL where you want to submit your form data and the form. So nest your text field with inside a form element and add the action forward slash submit cat photo. So we're going to add this action in. So here's our text field. We're going to nest this in a form element. And we're going to add the action to the form of submit cat photo. So now let's run the tests. So I believe the actions when you type and press enter, that's the action that will take place. So now there's the action. So I press enter. It tries to go to that link, which does not exist. So this would be some like something you had to code in or something, a page you have to add for it to work. Over here we're just showing how to actually make the action do something. So if you put no action, some guys get no action. Let's see what it says. So if I just put enter here now, it just opens the page again in a weird way. Let me refresh this. But now when I press enter, it tries to go to that link. So that's what it's doing. Let's add a submit button to your form. Clicking this button will send the data from your form to the URL you specified with your form's action attribute. Here's an example submit button. So button type equals submit. This button submits the form. End of button. Add a button as the last element of your form with the type submit and submit as its text. So this is within the form. So this will submit the form. So you have to put this within a form element. And they want it just to say submit. Submit to my will. Submit. There we go. So there's a button that, there's a form right here. This whole thing's one form by the form tag we added. There's a text field. And there's an action in the text field. There's an action in the form, rather. And submit activates this action, or pressing enter in the text field activates this action. Here's my email again. Let's go back to the curriculum. Which ones did I miss? Okay, I guess I stopped here. Use HTML5 to require a field. You can require a specific form field so that your user will not be able to submit your form until he or she has filled them out. For example, if you wanted to make a text input field required, you can just add the attribute required within your input element like this. Input type equals text required. So you just write the word required within the input, and then it won't let you submit until that is there. So you know when you're typing a form out on the internet, press submit, and it like says, oh, it didn't work. This is how you make that happen. So our input's right here. We're going to write the word required. Just simply write the word required. Now if I try to submit, it'll say please fill out this field. So that is only showing up because you wrote required. It's a good drink. You can use radio buttons for questions where you want the user to only give you one answer out of multiple options. So there's radio buttons down. Radio buttons are a type of input. Each of your radio buttons can be nested within its own label element. By wrapping an input element inside of a label element, it will automatically associate the radio button input with the label element surrounding it. So we need to do, we wrap an input element inside of a label element. So we do a label, then we do an input. So like this. all related radio buttons should have the same name attribute to create a radio button group. So you can add a name inside the radio button. So let's say you have a radio button implies you can it's like specific channels, like a radio. So a radio might have like 10 channels, but you can only be on one channel at once. So radio buttons, you might have 10 buttons, but only one can be selected at a time. So here, if you want to have, let's say you have 2 sets of radio buttons, how do you distinguish them? So that's what the name attribute comes into. So every radio button of the same group that you want only one to be selected, possibly, has to have the same name. So it is considered best practice to set a for attribute on the label element with the value that matches the value of the ID attribute of the input element. This allows assistive technologies to create a linked relationship between the label and the child input element. So they're saying the label, you put a for element indoor, and then you put an ID on this one indoor, and then you do the name, which is still the indoor outdoor. So add a pair of radio buttons to your form, each nested in its own label element. So I'm just gonna, I guess I'll write it from scratch. So down here below the submit button, we're gonna do, here's our label, here's our ending label. Then within this, we want to put a input. The type equals radio. And here, this one will have, well, they'll both have an ID of, well, this one will have an ID of indoor. The label will have a for indoor. And the name. Indoor looks like, this looks weird. Indoor. It's spelled right, but it looks weird. It's a strange word. Okay, the name will be indoor, outdoor. So there's our input, and the text will just say indoor. So I just want to put a space between the submit button. So I need to do, I think, it's a break. I know HR does that. I forget how to do just press enter, but I'll just do an HR for now. So we got indoor. I'm going to copy this. So this one has to have for outdoor. And this one has to have ID outdoor. And this one will say outdoor. I don't want the second HR. There we go. So it's still kind of annoying. It's not nice, but at least it's there. So that's sufficient, I believe, for this challenge. You would make it look a lot nicer, obviously, but for now they're just showing some basic functionality of HTML, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here. This is part 1 of my web development HTML videos, free code camp. I'm going to do the rest of them now in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment to Boo Math.